As Chancellor of the University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees by the authority of the Senate and of the Council.
Lord Lieutenant, my Lord Mayor, Mr. Chancellor, parents, friends and graduands, as Vice-Chancellor, I am delighted to welcome you all to this degree congregation. It is a celebration for all those who graduate today. We celebrate your many achievements that culminate in the award of a degree from a major international research and teaching-led university. All graduations are special, and this one is no exception. It is the first time that our Chancellor, Sir Peter Williams, has presided at our summer graduation ceremonies. Sir Peter has a distinguished record in the academic and business worlds and plays a major role in the interface between business and academic developments. We look forward to working with him and welcome him here today. We are very fortunate to have persuaded him to be our Chancellor. While you have been with us, the university has developed and changed. We are now a community of 19,000 students and 3,000 staff with a turnover of £172 million. It all demonstrates that universities are complex organisations. In these circumstances, higher education has, quite rightly, become a topic of public interest. We are very proud of our achievements in this academic year. We have been invited to become a member of the prestigious 1994 group of 19 UK universities who are renowned for high-quality research, high-quality teaching, and a first-rate student experience. In September of last year, we were placed joint first in the National Student Survey for teaching quality and overall satisfaction among universities who teach students on a full-time basis. This was, in fact, the largest independent government survey that was ever commissioned among students. In November of last year, our Students' Union was named Student Union of the Year, a competition that featured over 700 student unions. And I'm delighted with the success of our student union, not only in that competition, but in many others. And those of you in the congregation will know only too well how successful the Students' Union has been over the time you have been with us. Finally, in June this year, we were placed in the top 20 UK universities in the Times League Table, and we were delighted with this as the research evidence demonstrates that the Times is the league table that all potential students and their parents really follow. Our position has improved, and we plan to go higher in those league tables. Indeed, think of it like this: the higher we are placed, the greater the value of your degree. But what contributes to our league table position? First, the development of teaching. This year, Leicester has opened 3 centres of excellence in teaching and learning that were won in a national competition: in genetics education, in geographical information systems, and also in physics. This makes us one of only 16 universities awarded more than one of these innovative centres. National teaching fellowships have also been awarded to our staff in each of the last 3 years, to Derek Rain in physics, to Dr. Chris Wilmot in biochemistry, and this year to Professor Gilly Salmon in e-learning. As a leading teaching and research university, we see it essential to appoint leaders in their field. We have developed a new blood scheme for lecturers where we received over 1,000 applications for just 20 posts. This group of appointments include people who are the research leaders of the future and absolutely essential to sustain and develop the different disciplines. In research, we have seen many major developments across our faculties. For example, in museum studies, the Research Centre for Museum and Galleries received a Heritage Lottery Award of £360,000 and a further £120,000 from Nesta for the project Rethinking Disability Representation in Museums and Galleries. Professor David Exsurgeon in History of Art and Film has been awarded a fellowship at the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, where he will spend the summer engaged in a range of academic study. Professor Marilyn Palmer in Archaeology and Ancient History has been awarded a fellowship in Williamsburg and also at All Souls College in the University of Oxford in the coming year. While in the Management Centre, Professor Alan Bryman has had a major prize in the social sciences named after him. During the course of this year, we have also developed a range of high-quality facilities for staff and students. We are just completing a new student hall of residence with 581 study bedrooms that we will open in Oadby this September. We are also engaged in the largest building project in which the university has worked since the 1960s. The University Library project is seen as an essential part of the teaching and research infrastructure that constitutes a £27 million project on the campus. It is designed that it will be something for every member of staff and every student. It will double the size of our library and will bring together printed materials with electronic sources. A number of key developments have occurred in departments. These include a virtual reality suite in the Department of Geography, a new set of facilities for thermal and fluid engineering, and new air-conditioned laboratories in genetics. All these facilities enhance the student experience in Leicester, and we are planning many more. Fourthly, our contribution to the community comes in many forms. Contact, a student volunteer organisation, has seen over 600 students volunteering this year to help with right-to-read schemes, holidays for disabled children, and a playgroup for children with special needs. The playgroup has been run by the Students' Union for 30 years, something which is a record and a great testimony to the students down the years who have created these facilities and conducted the work. All this work empowers the people with whom our students work. It changes their lives to such an extent that they will never forget those of you who worked with them. And we are very proud of the contribution you have made to the people of Leicester and Leicestershire. Our Centre for Disability in the Arts, named after Lord Richard Attenborough, promotes dance, music and the visual arts through classes and public performances by international artists. This year has seen the arrival of a new director who is putting in place a dynamic new programme. Our 5th International Sculpture Show in the Botanic Gardens opened 10 days ago and highlights the university's contribution to the arts. This exhibition celebrates the work of 7 artists who have each taken a lawn to display their work. The exhibits are very expensive, but you will be pleased to know that viewing is free. I do strongly recommend it, and this year, just to give you an idea of what it is like, the picture on the front of your programmes is taken from the current exhibition. Fifthly, it is evident that in a university of this kind, we need to constantly plan and build new facilities and raise funds for them. Over the last 2 years, we have raised £10 million to build the University Library and to develop a cardiovascular research institute and also to develop a range of new research projects. If you know someone who you think could help the university in this respect, I would be delighted if you emailed me about it, because our work never stops. We are creating plans for new research, new teaching programs, new community links. It is absolutely essential that we are developing in this way in what is a very dynamic university. Finally, I would like to congratulate you all on the degrees you have obtained. We hope you will keep in touch with the university, and I shall look forward to meeting you at alumni events. But before I close, I'd like to tell you about a competition that I've devised over the last few years for degree ceremonies, because in my view, degree ceremonies are really celebratory events. Now, for a start, you're all looking far too serious up there. One of the things that I take a great interest in is how loudly and how long you can all applaud your fellow graduates. And so just to make sure that you get a bit of practice at this, I thought that we'd have a go in relation to you joining me in showing your appreciation to your parents, relatives, friends and sponsors who have supported you through the university. But do remember, the real competition comes on Friday when the medical school graduate, because their attempt is always to lift the roof off. And my challenge to you is to see if you can beat the medical school. Faculty of Arts came very close the other year, so I hope you're going to help me this afternoon in order that I can tell the medics that they've really got their work cut out this year to win again. So I would now ask the graduating class of 2006 to join with me in a round of applause for parents, relatives, friends and sponsors. Well, that's absolutely terrific. I can see you're in for a long afternoon. If you can increase the volume as well, I think that is a way I can encourage you to hot up the competition. But the main thing today is to have an enjoyable day, applaud your fellow students, and all good wishes to you all in your future careers.
In the 60 years since World War II, England has created two great novelists of war. One was Olivia Manning, and the other is our honorand, Pat Barker. Both have described battles not with the detached overview of the historian, but rather from the insider's perspective of the participant. Astonishingly, neither had direct experience of battle. In the Levant trilogy, Olivia Manning had the advantage of El Alamein happening in her own time, and she knew many of the participants. In the case of Pat Barker, she chose the canvas of World War I, of which her only experience was mediated through her grandfather. The Regeneration trilogy, on which her reputation rests, is an extraordinarily bold work, remarkable as a sustained act of the creative imagination, but also remarkable for its temerity. Not only did Pat Barker take on a war now distant in time, but she also chose to make one of its centers the literary figure of Siegfried Sassoon, whose own accounts, both autobiographical and lightly fictionalized, speak with an authority, albeit a deceptive authority, that would frighten off most novelists. Not so Pat Barker, who takes on Sassoon and the psychiatrist and anthropologist William Rivers, and recreates with extraordinary immediacy their time together and the war that they experienced. Where did it all begin? The answer on one level is Teesside, where Pat Barker was born and near which she still lives. She was mainly raised by her grandparents and so saw at first hand the extent to which World War I had marked, indeed damaged, her grandfather. She subsequently went to the LSE, where she read international history, and in that experience may lie the source of the integrity of her historical imagination, the determination to tell it as it was, however painful that narrative might be. After graduation, she trained as a teacher at Durham, as did our Vice-Chancellor, and then became a teacher of history and politics in the further education sector. In her mid-20s, Pat Barker's creative energies came to the surface. Her finest creations were her two children, one of whom was later to attend Charles Keene College here in Leicester. During this period, she also began to write. In common with most aspiring writers, her work was repeatedly rejected by publishers, but she persevered. She signed up for a creative writing course, of which the tutor was the soon-to-be great author Angela Carter. Finally, when she was almost 40, her first novel was published. It's called Union Street, and it was followed 2 years later by Blow Your House Down. These novels, like those of Carol Shields, celebrate the everyday lives of ordinary women. But whereas the inhabitants of Carol Shields' novels are respectively suburban, those of Pat Barker's novels live harsh lives, and she describes those lives without any concession to sentimentality. This refusal to romanticize hardship or to flinch in the face of pain was to contribute to the achievement of her subsequent novels and the greatness of the Regeneration trilogy. In all these works, she focuses on daily life, which in the hands of a lesser writer would simply be pedestrian. In the hands of Pat Barker, daily life becomes a prism through which she reflects on her abiding themes of creativity, memory, social class, sexuality, and violence. In the early 1990s, Pat Barker wrote the Regeneration trilogy. The third volume, The Ghost Road, rightly won the Booker Prize, and the first volume, Regeneration, was filmed in 1997. Her next novel, Another World, is set in late 90s Newcastle, and its presentation of the memory of an elderly veteran of World War I is on one level an imaginative recreation of her grandfather. In this century, Border Crossing, 2001, continued this examination of the effects of violence on those who survive and on succeeding generations, this time recapitulating the Sassoon-Rivers relationship in a contemporary account of a psychiatrist and a convicted juvenile murderer. Her most recent novel, Double Vision, 2003, is arguably her greatest. The double vision of the title is of two protagonists marked by war and atrocity. The book is set in our world, the world in which we watch and read reports about the wars in Bosnia and Afghanistan and of the 9/11 attack. It is, like Border Crossing, an investigation of the psychology and ethics of witnessing violence and those who have perpetuated it, and so provokes comparisons with Dostoevsky. We emerge from Crime and Punishment emotionally exhausted. Pat Barker's is an altogether more intelligent approach to similar issues, and we emerge from her novels with an understanding of emotional exhaustion. She is at present finishing another novel, which will be published in 2007 as Life Class. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of Senate and Council, I present to you Patricia Margaret Barker that you may confer upon her the degree of Doctor of Letters.
Please take a bow.
The graduands in the Faculty of Arts will be presented by the Dean, Professor Shattuck. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of Arts to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduands of the Faculty of Arts, I admit you to the several degrees for which you are presented on the authority of the Senate.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Bruce Campbell. Anna Catalani. Thomas Rust. Elizabeth Stewart. For the degree of Master of Arts in Archaeology and Heritage, Emma Bradbury. Stephanie Haythwaite. Joseph Mankowski. John Whitehouse. For the degree of Master of Arts in Art Gallery Studies, Louise Hilland. Amisha Carrier. Lucy Morris. Mairead O'Rourke. Emma Ream. Verity Sidgwick. Barley Stevens. Winner of the Raymond Singleton Prize, Alexandra Tapia Eguarte. Hannah Traherne. Ilkham Tunar. Alexandra Woodall. For the degree of Master of Arts in Landscape Studies, John Thomas. For the degree of Master of Arts in Museum Studies, Rachel Anderson. Mary Claire Barnes. Rachel Barras. Vanessa Barton. Julie Becker. Simon Benson. Graham Binns. Alison Campbell. Susan Capes. Chi Ping Chang. Nicola Clark. Stephanie Clemens. Laura Coates. Maria Connor. Evangelia Dalcou. Catherine Ellis. Darren Farr. Stephen Flore, Mary Francis, Peter Fuller, Frederica Glaab, Sarah Holloway, Sarah Hughes, Penelope Caligeru, Sarah Keeling, Nikki Harrett, Anjali Kotari, Michelle Lally, Catherine Lane, Stephanie Moore, Laura Murray, Joanna Neal, Heather Peacock, Claire Reeves, Lee Rush, Victoria Slade, Pete Strafford, Kaori Suzuki, Elaine Utley. On the authority of the Dean of the Faculty of Science, for the degree of Master of Science in Museum Studies, Louisa Ellington. Daphne Beaker. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, Thomas Blackham. Daniel Bomar. Tegan Cole. Deborah Crook. Liam Delaney. Muir Finley. Winner of the Samuel and Rachel May Prize in Archaeology, Aroa Garcia Suarez. Julia Grunil. George Harrington. Carl Jones. Danielle Lefebvre. Andrew Moore. Kelly Mortimer. Elizabeth Monroe Farley. Charlotte Newman. Peter O'Connell. Francesca Pegg. Natasha Porter. Hugh Rowe. Catherine Rouse. Carly Rowlandson. Caroline Whale. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, European Union, and winner of the Arnold Wickham Gaume Prize, Catherine Hutton. Alice Squire. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology International, Robert Cottrell. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and History, Russell Armstrong. Eleanor Chapman, Andrea Dean, Alexander Evans, Lisa Gubbings, Laura Lewis, Luke Politano, Samuel Polly, Stephen Richardson, Daniel Rose, Emma Simpson, Laura Teal, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, Anthony Aston, Martin Brooke, John Cunliffe, Roger Ferrari, Nicholas Harrison, Esther Holt, Mark Howe, Thomas Hoyle, Louise Knight, Alison Lane, Amy Locke, Ian McClements, Franklin Medhurst, Daniel Phillips, Roy Poulter, Julia Roberts, Gemma Stewart, Michael Stocks, Nicola Todd, Andrew Whelan, Paul Williams, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Film Studies and the Visual Arts, Shadrach Apiagi. Nicholas Bayton, Andrew Blair, winner of the R.M. Banks Prize and the Peter Baxter Prize, Simon Clancy. Robert Cook, Stephen Flynn, Jake Harvey, Maya McManus, Terry Moore, Paul Rowe, Miles Stevenson, Sebastian Stern, Charlotte Ward, David Watts, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, winner of the Willis Memorial Prize and the Luke Herman Prize, Connie Bailey. Henrietta Boast, Claire Bostock, Jessica Desmond, Anne Lees, Helen Laughlin, Sophie Phillips, Susanna Tweddle, For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, European Union, Laura Castillo. Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are admitted.
Norman Rosenthal has been Exhibitions Secretary of the Royal Academy of Arts in London for very nearly 30 years. He is the man who organises the exhibitions, which attract the visitors, who bring in the money which keeps the Academy going. Almost single-handed, he has transformed the Royal Academy from its post-war fusty irrelevance into one of the world's great exhibition venues. The list of memorable exhibitions which he has staged is remarkable, from Mantegna to Monet, from the Aztecs to African art. This is all the more impressive since the Royal Academy cannot rely on the trade-off process, which is a normal procedure for loan exhibitions. I'll lend you my Velázquez if you'll lend me your Rubens, since it does not itself possess any really important works of art. The Academy's only real assets are its very fine suite of rooms and, one concludes, Norman Rosenthal. Some of his exhibitions are reckoned to have changed the way in which art history is taught, and yet Norman Rosenthal himself has no formal art history training. He was born in 1944, the son of Central European Jewish refugees. In 1963, he came to the University of Leicester to read history, graduating in that subject in 1966. His first term's report notes that he shows great enthusiasm, reads widely, also in German, for his essays, backs his views in argument. His tutor, Henry Cohn, picked out a large part of the essential Rosenthal in this report. Whilst at Leicester, Norman Rosenthal got to know Mac Goldsmith, the founder of the Goldsmith Music Library in this city, who shared his love of music. Norman Rosenthal is still passionately fond of music and served on the advisory board of the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, for several years. He also organised his first art exhibition whilst still an undergraduate here. In February and March 1965, the Leicester City Art Gallery hosted his show Artists in Cornwall as part of the University Arts Festival. This very early show was noted for the wide range of art included, all of it produced in Cornwall during the middle years of the 20th century. On leaving Leicester, Norman Rosenthal began a PhD on the German peasant economy at the School of Slavonic and East European Studies in London, intending eventually to go into teaching. However, whilst looking for vacation employment, he walked into the London gallery of Thomas Agnew and Son and asked if they had any jobs. They did, and Rosenthal worked for them as a librarian and researcher until 1970. This was his real introduction to the world of art, and he found it a very pleasant world, so much so that he dropped out, as they said in the 60s, of history. He moved to the Brighton Museum and Art Gallery in 1970 as exhibition officer, and then occupied the same position with the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London. He was responsible for 2 festivals with the Institute, one in 1974, devoted to contemporary German culture, the area in which he was to become preeminent, the other to contemporary Greek culture. In 1976, Norman Rosenthal moved to the Royal Academy of Arts as Exhibitions Secretary. As such, he is responsible for all aspects of their exhibitions. He is especially associated with exhibitions which document the art, in particular the German art, of the 20th century. In 1985, he organised the exhibition German Art in the 20th Century for the Royal Academy. This required a lot of money, so sponsors were crucial. Norman Rosenthal remembers discussing this problem over dinner in a restaurant in Berlin, when Chancellor Kohl walked in and sat at the next table. Rosenthal promptly bought all the roses from a roving flower seller and sent them to Chancellor Kohl. This gesture, typical of Norman's direct style, plus a short talk from him, persuaded the Chancellor to be a patron of the exhibition, thus ensuring German sponsorship. For good measure, he also persuaded the British Prime Minister, Mrs. Thatcher, to be a patron. The methods he used to persuade her are not recorded. Both patrons visited the exhibition together, with Mrs. Thatcher looking rather bemused. He has organised in Germany several groundbreaking exhibitions of modern art at the Martin Gropius-Bau, the leading venue in Berlin. These include Zeitgeist, 1981, Metropolis, 1991, and The Age of Modernism in 1997. In 1997, he also organised, for the Royal Academy, the Sensation exhibition of work by young British artists from the Saatchi collection. The exhibition was greatly facilitated by Rosenthal's encyclopedic knowledge of current British art. Indeed, it is reckoned that he knows personally all of the significant modern artists in Germany and Britain. Norman Rosenthal possesses a knowledge and a love of art which is much wider than modern art or German art. Indeed, he is notable for the wide range of the exhibitions he has put on. He is a first-rate showman, totally involved in the look of an exhibition. He is perhaps more honoured abroad than in this country. Today, we try to restore the balance a little. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and of the Council, I present Norman Rosenthal that you may confer upon him the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Letters.
Thank you very much. Many congratulations. Take a bow and then we'll start.
Lord Mayor, Vice Chancellor, and above all, graduands here this afternoon. As you can imagine, as a former graduate of Leicester University, almost, it's a horrible thought, 44 years ago, I feel deeply moved to be here this afternoon to receive this honorific degree, and I'm very, very touched. And I certainly would like to thank the university deeply for awarding me this honour. My daughters sometimes call me Lucky Norman, and in a certain way, my getting to Leicester University back in 1963 or whatever it was, which I only got into in the very last moment. I was sort of invited to come to Leicester. I actually didn't do that well in my A-levels. I was invited to come to Leicester only in September. I think term began in October, and I was very sort of thrilled to get this letter saying, would I come to Leicester? I remember that very well. And Leicester, in some ways, was a place where my life started in all sorts of ways. I had incredible teaching here, not only in the history department especially, because that was a subject that I read, and one of my teachers here, Dr. Aubrey Newman, is here somewhere on the platform, and I was very moved to see him here this afternoon. The head of the department, Jack Simmons, I was a friend with right until his death and would sometimes dine with him in London. And there were extraordinary people here in the sociology department, Ilya Neustadt, and the legendary Norbert Elias, whom some of you will know, was also teaching here. It's very little known that this man, who is now a world legend all over the world, in the United States, in Germany, in France, actually spent as a refugee. He came to Leicester as a refugee and spent his life here and wrote many of his books here. And, Leicester was, in a certain sense, a great intellectual centre, very much through him and through many other people who were there. I, of course, read history, but I also got very involved in, for example, the University Arts Festival. As somebody's just as the Chancellor's just, or as has just been pointed out, organised my very first exhibition here, an exhibition here called Artists in Cornwall, with a catalogue of the University Art Gallery that was a kind of premonition, perhaps, of my future. I organised a concert here. I took part in plays here, actually, in the world premiere of a play by Sam Beckett called Play, which we managed to get hold of the text before it was actually released to, as it were, before it was actually published and actually had been performed in proper, so-called proper theatres, whether the Royal Court or in Paris. And so, as it were, Leicester was a very, very exciting place to be in, and in many ways there were many premonitions that I didn't know about of my future career. And I'm deeply grateful that I was here. I had a wonderful, wonderful time, made many friends, both amongst my my student friends and amongst the many teachers that I had here at the time. And so, as I say, I'm very touched to be here, and so particularly on behalf of Pat Barker, as I say, my parents had a very bad. My parents lived through the first half of the 20th century, a period of great intolerance. Well, I'm not saying there isn't any intolerance in the world today, but I personally have lived through an extraordinary period, and I have benefited from the tolerance, the general tolerance that exists in this country today, and that I hope will somehow go on indefinitely. I know the world is a very tricky place in all sorts of ways, but still this country, for all its problems, has a great deal to offer, and I would take this opportunity to on behalf also of Pat Barker, to congratulate all the graduates, the real graduates today, and accept with great honour and great humility this honorary degree. Thank you very much indeed.
The graduands in the Faculty of the Social Sciences will be presented by the Dean, Professor Jackson. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of the Social Sciences to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduands of the Faculty of the Social Sciences, by the authority of the Senate, I admit you to the several degrees for which you are presented.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Deborah Price.
I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations. Thank you.
Arko Sen.
I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Cooperative Management and Organisational Development, Miriam Chi-Chung-Hwa.
Congratulations. Thank you.
David Masumba.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Jacob Adapo.
Congratulations.
Thomas Abentra.
Congratulations.
Francis Aqua.
Congratulations.
Kester Aqua.
Congratulations.
John Aqua.
Congratulations.
Philip Aqua.
Congratulations.
Isaac Acque.
Congratulations.
Solomon Addo.
Congratulations.
Themistocles Adelphopoulos.
Congratulations.
Yo Aji Fofi.
Congratulations.
Francis Ajipong.
Congratulations.
Robert Agbobley.
Congratulations.
Hakan Al.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Ernest Ahulu.
Congratulations.
Edward Akoto.
Congratulations.
Indira Allen.
Congratulations.
Charles Alote.
Congratulations.
Richard Amosi Ando.
Congratulations.
Cynthia Amponsa Antwi.
Congratulations.
Christodoulos Anastasio.
Congratulations.
Patrick Ansong.
Congratulations.
Emmanuel Apiagi.
Congratulations.
Maria Aroni.
Congratulations.
Loretta Aryi.
Congratulations.
Kwasi Asante.
Congratulations.
Erasmus Asari.
Congratulations.
Pearl Ashili.
Congratulations.
Ben Atom.
Congratulations.
Augustine Baffo.
Congratulations.
Emmanuel Bedu.
Congratulations.
Samuel Bedu.
Congratulations.
Naja Balhaj.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Mark Bell.
Congratulations.
Eric Beoki.
Congratulations.
Christopher Boteng.
Congratulations.
William Bryant.
Congratulations.
Mark Calamari.
Congratulations.
Tanya Calamari.
Congratulations.
Stephen Carden Node.
Congratulations.
P. Chung Chen.
Congratulations.
Puneet Chopra.
Congratulations.
Mohsin Chowdhury.
Congratulations.
Natalie Xu Xianghua.
Congratulations.
Felix D'Souza.
Congratulations.
Annalika Dalla.
Congratulations.
Charles De Batista.
Congratulations.
Crispin Day.
Congratulations.
Claudine Despot.
Congratulations.
Ramona Despot.
Congratulations.
Jane Dixon.
Congratulations.
Kevin Donahoe.
Congratulations.
Stuart Drackard.
Congratulations.
Solomon Zorzomi.
Congratulations.
Samuel Edobor.
Congratulations.
Will Elsawa.
Congratulations.
Kenneth Ennan.
Congratulations.
Isabella Esansi.
Congratulations.
Rose Euphrasie.
Congratulations.
Bassam Fala.
Congratulations.
Jesmond Frigeri.
Congratulations.
Emmanuel Frimpong.
Congratulations.
Solomon Gambra. Congratulations. Nathaniel Garty.
Congratulations.
Charles Gretsch.
Congratulations.
David Gudorzi.
Congratulations.
Eric Gayandu.
Congratulations.
Joseph Giekiek.
Congratulations.
Kofi Yimya.
Congratulations.
Mishiyasu Higuchi.
Congratulations.
Christine Ho.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Hon.
Congratulations.
Amrita Hosani.
Congratulations.
Mamadou Jallo.
Congratulations.
Amodini Jaiwikrama.
Congratulations.
Patricia Johnson.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Christopher Jones.
Congratulations.
Yausa Kasim.
Congratulations.
John Kimani.
Congratulations.
Siu Ming Ko.
Congratulations.
Frederick Konadu.
Congratulations.
Pushpa Lakra.
Congratulations.
Maureen Larye.
Congratulations.
Su Ling Lee.
Congratulations.
Feng Ying Lung.
Congratulations.
Shannon Lim Fook.
Congratulations.
Karen Lindsay.
Congratulations.
Dora Luhumbo.
Congratulations.
Ravi Mani.
Congratulations.
Nolene Martin.
Congratulations.
Rami Masu.
Congratulations.
Edward Mensah.
Congratulations.
Godwin Mensah.
Congratulations.
Kingsford Mensah.
Congratulations.
Victor Mensah.
Congratulations.
Rishianan Singh Marut.
Congratulations.
John Muhim Simzi.
Congratulations.
Susan Mugai.
Congratulations.
Lydia Murimi.
Congratulations.
Tanya Naudi.
Congratulations. Thank you.
David Nikoy.
Congratulations.
Derek Nikoy.
Congratulations.
James Nunu.
Congratulations.
George Odum.
Congratulations.
Timur Ofori.
Congratulations.
Nana Ose.
Congratulations.
Folasadi Osingbogan.
Congratulations.
Carl Ostergaard.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Joseph Owusu.
Congratulations.
Samson Owusu.
Congratulations.
Emmanuel Owusu Ansah.
Congratulations.
Kofi Owusu Kumi.
Congratulations.
Iris Owusu Manu.
Congratulations.
Roderick Parks.
Congratulations.
George Pasternicki.
Congratulations.
Chandrika Patel.
Congratulations.
Chamara Pereira.
Congratulations.
Jason Poruthu Karan.
Congratulations.
Vinayak Pratap.
Congratulations.
Minyu Kwan.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Karishi.
Congratulations.
Ihab Reda.
Congratulations.
Rezil Ramin.
Congratulations.
Samuel Rumhiza.
Congratulations.
Elaine Sacco.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Solomon Saki.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Saluma.
Congratulations.
John Sam.
Congratulations.
Michael Schaefer.
Congratulations.
Josette Scriberis.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Christopher Subaliba.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Samsudin.
Congratulations.
Christopher Sharman.
Congratulations.
Pamela Sharples.
Congratulations.
Balya Silvisa.
Congratulations.
Ranjit Singh.
Congratulations.
Gloria Sue.
Congratulations.
Samuel Tabby.
Congratulations.
Ray Takahashi.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yusri Thasim.
Congratulations.
Kelly Say.
Congratulations.
Mary Wagira.
Congratulations.
Fred Wannock.
Congratulations.
Sandra Wafey.
Congratulations.
Daniel Williams.
Congratulations.
Lai Ping Wong.
Congratulations.
Albert Yeboah.
Congratulations.
Dai N Yu.
Congratulations.
Devin Zanda Nakoma.
Congratulations.
Jing Zhao.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Finance, Chow Kyung Kong.
Congratulations.
Matthew Kwame Ziga.
Congratulations.
Lakraz Ramfu.
Congratulations.
Kevin Vassalou.
Congratulations.
Margaret Vassalo.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Management, Antonia Harding.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Management of Quality Excellence, John Preen.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Marketing, Wing Man Ung.
Congratulations.
Dan Kyo.
Congratulations. Thank you.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Management Studies, Karen Igepong Botang.
Congratulations.
Nabil Arshad.
Congratulations.
Nisha Atwal.
Congratulations.
Jason Ito.
Congratulations.
Sandeep Bansil.
Congratulations.
Richard Beadle.
Congratulations.
Lavinia Beale.
Congratulations.
Dale Bellis.
Congratulations.
Wayne Blowfield.
Congratulations.
Mark Butterfield.
Congratulations.
Winner of the Most Improved BA in Management Studies Graduate Prize, Harry Caswell.
Congratulations and well done on your prize. Well done.
Tajinder Chana.
Congratulations.
Christopher Charik.
Congratulations.
Pamela Christodoulou.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Churchyard.
Congratulations.
Adam Coles.
Congratulations.
Balpreet Dillon.
Congratulations. Thank you.
James Dibble.
Congratulations.
Stephen Elif.
Congratulations.
Winner of the Best BA in Management Studies Graduate Prize, Gopalan Fagburi.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
Nicola Fawcett.
Congratulations.
Vanessa Ford.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Rajit Garsha.
Congratulations.
Richard Gallard.
Congratulations.
Christopher Gosling.
Congratulations.
Michael Gregory.
Congratulations.
John Hardy.
Congratulations.
Andrew Hart.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Hennebury.
Congratulations.
John Howarth.
Congratulations.
Fang Huang.
Congratulations.
Philip Hudson.
Congratulations.
Philippa Eby.
Congratulations.
Matthew Ives.
Congratulations.
Bashir Jassat.
Congratulations.
Shafiq Karim.
Congratulations.
Richard Keeble.
Congratulations.
Stephen Kenward.
Congratulations.
Jessal Himji.
Congratulations.
Victor Lee.
Congratulations.
Bo Lee.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Cindy Lee.
Congratulations.
Hema Lodia.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Lunat.
Congratulations.
Adrian Lucia.
Congratulations.
Jonathan Mackay.
Congratulations.
Jaspreet Maini.
Congratulations.
Prina Mandavia.
Congratulations.
Andrew Marsh.
Congratulations.
Thomas Mayfield.
Congratulations.
Sadia Mirza.
Congratulations.
Sami Mohammed.
Congratulations.
Rakesh Morjeria.
Congratulations. Well done.
Shob Mulak.
Congratulations.
Thomas Newbold.
Congratulations.
Sarah Nicholson.
Congratulations.
Michael Osafo.
Congratulations.
Anjali Patel.
Congratulations.
Dhiren Patel.
Congratulations.
Rakesh Patel.
Congratulations.
Shivani Patel.
Congratulations.
Pavan Popat.
Congratulations.
Bansi Ratanshi,
Congratulations.
Alice Robinson,
Congratulations.
Neelam Sandhu,
Congratulations.
Nima Sattar,
Congratulations.
Amandip Singh,
Congratulations.
Emma Smith,
Congratulations.
James Smythe,
Congratulations.
Masahiro Tajima,
Congratulations.
Seva Taylor,
Congratulations.
Suni Oberoi,
Congratulations.
Jai Yi Wang,
Congratulations.
Benjamin Woolston,
Congratulations.
Lisa Young,
Congratulations. Thank you.
for the degree of Business Administration, Gifty Enshio,
Congratulations. Well done.
Benjamin Saw,
Congratulations.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
By the authority of the Senate, I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Lord Lieutenant, my Lord Mayor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished honorands, ladies and gentlemen, above all of you who have graduated here today. As the Vice-Chancellor already reminded us at the start of the proceedings, today is very, very much a day for celebration of achievement, your achievements here. And as your Chancellor, it's a privilege for me, truly a privilege, to be able to share this day with you and with your friends and families. By the way, I calculate, being of a scientific background, that between us, the Vice-Chancellor and I, by Friday evening, will have shaken well over 3,000 sets of hands. So if occasionally we were less than firm in our response to the rowers and rugby players amongst you, I apologize. But this is a marathon for which we must keep ourselves in trim for the rest of the week. It's also a great privilege on such occasions as Chancellor to welcome into our midst distinguished individuals whom we honour and who in turn honour us by their acceptance of our degrees. So it's with enormous pleasure that I add my own congratulations to Pat Barker and Norman Rosenthal. You are both, if I may say, truly an inspiration and a role model to all of our colleagues here today who have also been admitted to their degrees. We are grateful for your acceptance of coming among us. And can I also, by the way, add a very special welcome today for those of you who are graduating but are somewhat less familiar with the campus here in Leicester. I'm thinking of those of you who have been combining a career with your studies in parallel. Distance learning, of course, has become immensely important in the higher education sector. And in choosing the University of Leicester for your studies, you have opted for perhaps the UK's leading university of all in distance learning. But I hope in saying that you feel today, and indeed that you have always felt, every bit as much a part of this university as any of our full-time students here, as indeed you are and have been. Of course, for those of you who've had the privilege of spending the last 3 or 4 years here, It's now time for you to move on and to join your distance learning colleagues in that place we call fondly the wider world, wherever that may be. And for many of you here today, it is indeed a wider world. Leicester prides itself, quite rightly, on being an international university, located in the United Kingdom, yes, but an international university in its nature. And in fact, the whole of the global market in education has changed and transformed in recent years. Higher education is itself now global in nature. The disciplines that you have been admitted to your degrees today are also very much international and global in their character. We cannot say any longer who owns ancient history. It is a property of the whole of mankind. Management, those of you who've just been admitted to your management degrees, is very much a global and an international commodity. I don't wish, of course, in saying that to forget museum studies, but on such occasions, chancellors are not supposed to be anything other than totally impartial. But if the Vice-Chancellor will forgive me, as a former chair of trustees of the Science Museum in London, I do indeed have a soft spot for those of you admitted to museum studies degrees. But as the Vice-Chancellor and I have both observed, higher education has very much become the melting pot of the world today, helping young men and young women from many different nations, not only to learn together, but at the same time to understand each other and to grow to respect each other's separate and different cultures. The world needs such mutual understanding today, more than perhaps it ever has, if we're to resolve the conflicts and tackle the challenges that lie ahead of all of us. And I'm not talking in that, by the way, about planning for the next World Cup. Wherever you go, having graduated, you'll take with you more perhaps than you realize from your time with us at Leicester. As your parents and family friends will have noted, you have above all in your time at Leicester changed and developed as people. You'll also leave Leicester with friendships forged here, which I can assure you will truly last for the rest of your lives. Experience at university in higher education is, of course, the sum of many components. It's about learning, it's about scholarship and research, and indeed, the Vice-Chancellor reviewed many of the accomplishments of our distinguished faculty in his address to you earlier. But you know, for me, the reputation of a university is carved out as much by what its graduates do and what they achieve in the rest of their lives as any of the other factors I've mentioned, important though they undoubtedly are. From now on, all of you, each and every one of you, is an ambassador for the University of Leicester. Your achievements will reflect on us. Your successes will continue to give us much pleasure over the years, as you can see from the Leicester educated honorary graduates such as Norman Rosenthal, whom we are honouring this week. So as you take your leave, let me again salute you on your achievements in earning your degree and wish you every success and happiness in your lives to come. Enjoy your celebrations this evening. You have earned them. Thank you. I now declare this congregation closed.